So this is a 2-tank conversion, PlantDrive 2-tank conversion on a 2006 Golf. We had to remove some of the plastic that you find around the battery and installed Optima yellow top battery. Right here you can see the fuse, inline fuse for the switching valve. That's a 10 amp fuse. There are actually two valves on this one, so this is really it's a 2 TSD45 kit, but the valves were upgraded to 2 Hydroforce valves as opposed to the 6-port Pollock valve. And that's an option that we certainly do offer. So the valves are just marked with a Sharpie pen S and R, supply and return. They're mounted through the side of the plastic battery box and bolted in place. Some long bolts and washers. The VM2 filter is glued in place with SB190 adhesive, and the battery tray was drilled out so that the drain valve for the VM2 can be drained out through the bottom of the car, and a rubber hose was run down underneath so that it's easy to just reach down in here, open the drain valve, and drain out the filter as required. So there's the usual filter element on the VM2. That's the Dondaldson. It does all fit under the hood. So this is a loop return. You can see the brass T right here, and the connections for the coolant are down here. There's lines, coolant lines that run to and from the oil cooler. And so here's one of the T's right down there, okay, next to the filter. And I believe both of them are actually in that area. There's the other one. Yeah, they're right beside each other, just to and from the oil cooler. So just connected to those. Now the idea of that is that they run, it's one continuous loop. It runs from the one heater hose T over to the, it's a little hard to get some of these things on the camera, but anyway, this one comes off the one T and into the one of the coolant fittings on the top. There are four possible places to connect coolant on a VM2. There's 4 ports, and they're the uppermost 4 ports on the VM2. So on the front side of this VM2, neither of them are used, and we've got 2 of the supplied ORB plugs in those unused ports. And on the back side of the VM2, we've got a coolant in and coolant out. So the engine coolant circulates from one of the heater hoses through the VM2 and all the way back and underneath the car to the tank in the trunk. And in this case, the owner has this all nicely covered and bundled up, but there it is in the back of the hatchback. It fits in there very neatly. And there's a hot fox installed into the tank. Just going to use a really large cap on these tanks that is self-vented, so it would seal as needed and opens up to allow replacement air into the tank as needed. And try not to drop the iPhone camera down into the tank. You can see the stainless steel hot fox, which is also the fuel pickup tube down in the fuel tank itself. So we've got 2 coolant lines and 1 fuel line. And so this coolant loop off the front comes back under the car, up underneath the spare tire well, and through the car and back up to the front again. So as far as switching, all that this car has inside is a single toggle switch. That does involve taking some of the plastic bits apart on the car, which is a little bit of a trick. But you get onto it after the first time you've done it. You may never do it again, but you learn how to do it and take that apart. Run your wire through for the toggle switch. There's also a buzzer installed under the hood. Now that's a forgot to purge buzzer. It just simply reminds you on a two-tank system that if you shut the engine off and you've left it on vegetable oil, you should, if you're going to be parked for more than a little while, you should purge the engine, purge the vegetable oil out, and run some diesel through. So the two hydroforce valves on this conversion were the supply and return, of course, and they're just wired directly to the same toggle switches. There is no delay timer on this particular one, although that could be added as an option. It wasn't installed on this car, just to keep things a little bit simpler. And so there's a little bit of return fuel at purge sent back to the diesel tank, but as long as the owner does not do a whole lot of purges, once a day perhaps, and then top up the diesel tank when it gets down to half, then that works just fine. So that's a two-tank conversion on a 2006. There is no 2006 PD Volkswagen Golf. There's no Vegtherm inline electric heater on this car. We have sufficient fuel temperatures just with the Hot Fox and the VM2 coolant heated filter. The heat exchanger isn't required. The Vegtherm is actually not required on this one either because of the fact that the fuel is heated as it goes through the cylinder head, so that acts as a final heat exchanger, and there is enough coolant-based heating that was felt that it's not required to use the Vegtherm on this particular car, like we do on most others. Okay, that's it.